it's Gwen from Hummingbird Tarot, and today I'm doing another video in my RWS Versus series where I take a deck that's based on Rider-Waite-Smith and compare it against the traditional images found in a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So today I'm taking a look at the Vision Quest Tarot, and I am comparing that against the Universal Weight Tarot deck. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified every week when I upload a new video. So the box is just your standard tuck box. It came with a little white book that wasn't anything spectacular, just similar to what you get in the typical tuck box that you get. The cardstock is almost identical in both of them. The cardstock is a little bit bigger in the Vision Quest Tarot, wider and a little bit longer, just a hair. This is what the back of the decks look like. These just have the stars for the Universal Weight. And then this is a night sky with an eagle flying for the Vision Quest Tarot. Now, the Vision Quest Tarot, it can and it can't be good for a beginner, and let me just tell you a couple different things. The suits are different in the Vision Quest Tarot, and the suits are actually the elements associated. They do match the elements associated with each of the suits in your standard Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and then the names of the court cards are also different. So if you're wanting to use this as a study deck to help further your knowledge of a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it might throw you a little bit having the court cards change. It might also help you a little bit in getting familiar with the different elements that are associated with each of the suits. But they have changed the suits, so you're not going to see a sword associated with fire in this deck. You'll just see fire. So it does give you a little bit of a different twist. So you can, if you're a beginner, just completely forget about Rider-Waite-Smith and focus on your intuition only with this deck. Or if you're a little bit more advanced and you just want a good deck to look at, then this might be a good deck for you to look at. So let's just go ahead and walk through the deck. I just realized that I forgot to put my jewelry on, so I went and took care of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to flip through the deck. We'll take a look at each images. I've got them in the same order, and you can see how they're similar and how they're different. So I'm just going to start flipping through here. So you'll see already, instead of the fool, it's the clown. So this is something that's good about this deck for beginners, is that there are keywords on the cards. Some people don't like them. I actually prefer them for doing readings for others, because then it saves me a step of labeling which card I'm talking about if I'm sending a photograph of the reading to someone. But if they bother you, you can just completely disregard those. It's up to you. And you'll see the Vision Quest Tarot is all about the family and the different roles of the family. You've got a shaman in there, but the different traditional roles that would be found in a tribe as well. And I should mention, as a disclaimer, I do put clothes on my naked people in my decks. So you'll see I've got this with a little bit of a paint pen, gold paint pen in there. Life force, justice. I really like the death card in this deck. I think it's very powerful how they have the body up there. The spirit of the owl is coming in, and the death card is about cycles and the end of one cycle and the beginning of another, and transformation. Very, very clearly expresses that as well. And then some of the cards are interpreted a little different. You You know, this is sometimes sudden change. There can be chaos associated with it, but chaos isn't always something that I necessarily associate with the tarot card, but I do see how you can, there is an element of chaos when you have sudden change, trying to find new footing. So just a different perspective, different way to look at the cards. And I should have mentioned too, you'll notice this is the first suit. It's listed as water, and that's for cups. And you'll see there are some of the similar elements, but there is no cup as the name on the cups. But the element of water is associated with cups in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And then here you'll see the court cards. You've got, for the page, you've got the daughter, and then is the son, mother, and father. And now we're starting with the earth, which is also associated with pentacles. And we'll just go through that. I find the Vision Quest deck to be very powerful. It definitely has a different vibe. I find it to be very grounding, very solid. It doesn't feel fanciful like some decks do. Very well balanced. Grounded is the best word that I can think of as a descriptor when talking about this deck. Very stable. They know exactly where they're coming from. The cards are very thoughtful. I do find it easy to read, and it gives my readings a completely different energy than when I say use the standard Rider-Waite-Smith images. Definitely different perspectives. And some decks have a sense of humor, or they're very silly, and some cards are super serious. And I feel like the Vision Quest Tarot also pretty much just tells it like it is. I forgot to mention we've got fire for wands. And I also feel like this deck is very wise. So now we're moving into the air. We've got the feathers representing that, which is typically swords. And I feel like this deck is almost like, I don't know, the epitome of the Hermit card, and the portion of the energy of that card that has to do with a sage, the wizened sage, how you're going on this trek to the mountaintop to confer with the sage on the mountaintop and ask their advice. Some of the answers are cryptic and they don't make sense immediately, but you definitely are getting advice from a wise old soul, and you need to consider sometimes the advice that they're giving until you can find complete clarity about what it's sharing. There you go. Leave me a comment below if you love this deck, you hate it, you have it, you want it. Anything that you have to say about it, I'd love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next time around. Thanks for stopping by.